we are called to go and spread the seed of the Word of God out as far as we can and reach as many people as possible. And we don't always know where it's going. You know, when our radio broadcast is heard, it goes all around the world. On any given day, 2 to 3 million people listen to our radio broadcast in New Beginning. And we receive letters from people in amazing places with incredible stories. I just got a letter the other day from a guy who was an outlaw biker. And how do you reach an outlaw biker? And he heard our radio show and gave his life to Jesus Christ. And now he is ministering to other outlaw bikers. And he's actually been ordained as a pastor and is serving the Lord. Just one of those people that was reached by the Word of God. And so we take the seed and we throw it out there. We do that on the internet and other ways. Just reach as many people as we can. That's our job. Paul said in 1 Corinthians 3, my job was to plant the seed in your hearts. And Apollos, another preacher, watered it. But it was God, not we, who made it grow. The ones who do the planting and watering aren't important, but God is important because he's the one that makes the seed grow. The one who plants and the one who waters work as a team with the same purpose. So we're a team. We work together. We may not even know each other, but we're still effectively working as a team. In other words, you might go out and share your faith with someone, so you just sowed the seed. Then a little bit later, maybe a month or a year down the road, they run into a person who lives a godly life, and by the lifestyle of that believer, they in effect watered the seed you sowed. And then a little bit later, maybe you bring them to church, or someone else brings them to church, and I or someone else invites them to Christ, and they respond. Well, really, the one who reaps and the one who sows and the one who waters, we're all secondary. God's the one that did the conversion, but he worked through us because we worked as a team. And that's why we do what we do at Harvest Christian Fellowship and in Harvest Ministries. You know, ever since our beginning 35 years ago, we have always reached out to our community. You might say that outreach is in our DNA. When we started in the 70s, after our congregation began to grow, we started holding meetings in various venues around town, and then pretty soon out of state. And then when the 80s rolled around, our radio program was just getting started, and we would go and do these radio rallies, and we had such tremendous response in some areas that we started 2 churches from those. We planted a church in Washington, D.C., and also in New York City, and both of those churches are doing well. Fast forward to the 90s, that was the beginning of the Harvest Crusades, of course, and since their beginning in 1990, we've been able to bring the gospel in person to over 4 million people, and we have seen over 350,000 people make professions of faith to follow Christ. And so we're thankful for that. But God gets the glory for that. But we have always been about evangelism and teaching, because here's the Great Commission given to all Christians. It's to go into all the world and preach the gospel. Jesus says, and making disciples, teaching them to observe all things that I have commanded you. So our goal, our job, if you will, is to preach and teach. So yes, we go out and evangelize, but we also disciple and teach and do that every week right here in our own church. And God has blessed our church.